Hello, my most amazing artist. So we are going to finish up our mixed up chameleon picture today. We've drawn our chameleon, and last week we colored our chameleon so everything's nice and rich and waxy. I can see some of Mrs. Cole's colored wasn't that great, but we're gonna keep going. If you drew a moon or a sun, make sure you color that too. I can tell I colored mine because I can feel that white crayon under my moon. I also, since I want to do a nighttime one, took a white crayon and made little circles kind of sprinkled all over. Because remember, our little chameleon's up in the tree, so everything else is sky. So I put a little resist in my sky because I wanted to. If you would like to do that, you're more than welcome to do that too. If you're going to do a sunrise or a sunny day, then you'll be using those warm colors like reds, oranges, and yellows. If you're doing nighttime like I am, you're probably going to do more of your cool colors, those purples, blues, maybe some greens. I don't know if I'm put green in mine. But remember, you don't want to mix your warm and your cool paints together because it'll make a muddy color. We don't want that. So in the school, we have our watercolor sets. This should be in your art kit. The first three are kind of put together, the red, orange, and yellow. Those are your warm colors. This color right here, magenta, that can go either warm or cool. It's really up to you. And then the bottom five, or your green, blue, purple, magenta, and turquoise, those are your cool colors. So decide what color you want for your sky, whether it's warm or cool. You can't do both. We might play around with some liquid watercolors, which I know you don't have, and it's just watercolors are already liquid. So if you see me get that out too, we might play with that. But every color you possibly need is probably in here. Like I only have 3 colors in these where you have 5 over here. So mine's a nighttime sky, so I'm gonna get my water. And remember, when you're painting, you need your green paintbrush. You need a cup of water. Doesn't hurt to have a piece of paper towel around in case you have a spill. You might want to put something underneath your picture to protect the table you're working on. Mrs. Cole's working on her desk at school, and I don't mind if it gets paint on it, but ask whoever's at home with you. So when we start watercolor, you want to get your brush nice, give it a nice good drink. So you want to kind of swish it around. So swish, 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 drip. And you go into your paint and you wiggle or tickle. So as I'm doing a nighttime sky, I'm going to start with my lighter colors, but you can do, we're just going to kind of play. So I'm going to tickle some turquoise. I'm going to start painting. You want lots of water on your brush. And you can see where I did one of my stars there. Now, if it's nighttime, this doesn't seem too dark for me. So I'm going to rinse out my brush. I'm going to go into the blue and tickle, tickle, tickle. I'm going to do some blue. If you want it darker, you tickle more. If you want it lighter, you add more water. And while it's wet, you rinse your paintbrush. And if you put wet paint next to wet paint, kind of blends together for you. Isn't that really cool? There's another one of my stars. You can even put water down in your paper first. And you can see the paint's already going into the water. And then I can add some paint on that water, and that's always fun. So what I want you to do is either take your warm colors or your cool colors, and we don't have to be super careful because see, I can paint right over my chameleon and it's bubbling up. So if that happens, you can just blot it with your paper towel because water and crayon are not friends. So every time you change a color, you wash and rinse your brush. You decide how dark or how light you want your sky. You're going to hold your paintbrush kind of like a pencil. If you use lots of water and you put your colors next to each other, they really do a cool thing and they blend. See how it's kind of blending there? And I love that. So wet on wet technique is what we're doing. So I just put a lot of water down, and now I'm going to add some blue on top of that. So since it's wet and my crayon is there, it's resisting. So I'm having it kind of a multi-galaxy almost kind of sky. If you don't like that, you don't have to paint like that. If you just want it a dark blue sky, you can just paint it as dark blue as you want. The only rule with watercolor is you need to make sure your brush has plenty of water and the paint glides. Nothing scratchy on our surface. So since we use a really good resist, we don't have to be super careful around our details. See, I can paint right over that and it bubbles up. And all I have to do is kind of blot that with my paper towel. I'd like you to try and practice painting around your things, but again, we're learning. So if you just wanted one solid color, that's absolutely okay. You decide. It's your sky. Ooh, I see how when you add that purple in the wet color, it just kind of explodes. I love that. If you want it to be a completely different color and you're using the warm colors, that's fine too. Remember, you can use red, orange, yellow, or magenta. So you decide what your sky looks like when you're completely done and everything is painted. Let it dry. You want to let it dry flat. Oh, there's where Mrs. Cole has some tape on our paper. Let it dry, and I painted my moon with the crayon resist, so I don't have to be super careful, so I can paint right over it. And it just bubbles up, and I can just wipe those bubbles away, and my moon stayed clean. I love a crayon resist. It's one of my favorite techniques, especially in kindergarten. And then that kind of purple was kind of dark, but it's supposed to be night, so Mrs. Cole's okay with that. So if sometimes it's too dark, just add some more water and then just spread it around a little bit. What I don't want you to do is I want you to try and practice getting those colors to blend softly and no real harsh lines. That's something even my older kids are still working on, so that's okay if you're still learning. So get the color that you like on your sky, lay it flat to dry. We'll just pretend the only thing that can stay white are things that you drew white, like my stars and my moon. So I'm going to come down here and finish this really quick so you get an example. I don't have to be super careful in here. You can practice going on the tippy toes. I like lots of puddles with my watercolor. It makes it so much easier to paint than when you're trying to have it dry. Because if my paint was really, really dry and sticky, I'm painting in that's not fun. I like to kind of just swoosh it around. Want to get as close to those as possible because I know I did my resist right, so I don't have to worry about it. All right, since I have lots of puddles on mine, I'm going to make sure that I don't like that turquoise. I'm going to paint over that with some blue. So if you don't like something and your paper is still wet, you can go right over it and paint over it. See? It just kind of blends in there. Love that. Okay. Now mine's done. My whole paper's done. I'm pretty happy with my sky, my little nighttime sky. Yours can just be one color if you like that, or you can try the different mixing like I did. When it's all done and dry, it's nice and flat, take a picture of this for me and upload it to our assignment. And there you go. I hope you enjoyed painting our wet on wet technique with warm or cool colors for your sky. All right, have a great day, have fun painting, and don't forget to clean up your mess. When you're all done with painting, remember, leave your paint set open so it can dry. If you close it when it's wet, it'll get sticky and yucky. So just leave this somewhere to dry, clean up your mess, and I'll talk to you later. Goodbye, my most amazing artists.